So I found out that these heater hoses or coolant line hoses that go from the engine and that goes into the interior heater core lines, they naturally just go bad. So I already took it apart. It was a pain. Right here, it's where it's mounted. And then this one is on top, this one's on the bottom. This one that's on top has a screw that connects to this bottom mount, and pretty much the bottom mount is the one that does all the work, as that holds it. So I have to take these out now just because I already have the fuel tank out. It makes sense to service this right away before I install the fuel tank, which I really want to install the fuel tank to get this thing up and running. But you know, I do need the heat because here it is brutal. So I am gonna need this. So I'm gonna take it out. It's a lot of work, and I'll show you how it looks underneath and how these lines run from under here into the front. All of this is blocked by this plastic cover that is on top of all of this, so it blocks everything. So those hoses connect from back there from the engine bay. They come up all the way from underneath above the fuel tank on the side of the shifter, and they line up right here. So these things are bad. Mine were already rusted. These are the type of, I guess, clamps or whatever, hose clamps that they come on. It's one of those, you know, double screw in types, and that's bad. So you're gonna have to break them off. I have new ones, or plan on buying new ones, so that doesn't matter. But these are the two from the heater core. This is the shut off valve or whatever. Every time you put heat or cold air, this pretty much takes care of it from the interior. So getting these hoses are a pain. I don't want to cut them off because I want to reuse them, even though I should replace them, but it's just a pain. So I may just cut them and just replace them, honestly. I don't know what to do at this point. I think I might do that. They're very stiff to get out. Like, they're super hard. Like, I was able to break free, you know, break it free for a little bit. And yeah, you see this line right there, that middle line interferes with some of the space underneath there for you to undo, because there's two brackets right here and another bracket right there, 10mm bolts that hold these two hoses up there. So it's pretty hard. I don't know what this line is. It's the brake. It's from the brake, so you're gonna have to be very careful. It travels there from the brake booster and all that. So you're gonna have to be careful not to damage that middle line. But yes, it's difficult. It's a difficult job to do. So here are the lines. We're underneath the car right now. So there's a bracket right here. That's another 10mm, and a bracket right here that's 10mm. So it's a little hard to see, but you can see the residue from where it was leaking. You can see the orange rust or the orange oxidation, because this is a brass line, so it has been leaking, and it will continue to leak if I do not replace these. There's just a factory problem that they have. There's another 10mm. Those aren't pretty hard to undo. And then up here, from where we had the connections for the fuel pump, you see that little screw? These are like already threaded on there. They're just flared onto this mount. So these feed up there, and then there's two nuts that you have to loosen above. Luckily, they weren't too difficult to undo, so you'll have to, I would do that first if you're gonna do that. Here are the two nuts that I was talking about. Here's the two brackets. So there's two 10mm nuts that go on this side, and as you can see, there's barely any room. You can't even put a socket and a wrench on here. Probably you could probably squeeze in a 3/8 maybe. Probably a 1/4 drive you could probably put in there, but this one is going to give you the most issue, is this line right here. So from up there, remember that brake booster line that we saw? Yeah, this is the thumb line right here. So this is right in, like, look, my finger is literally right, like look how much space you have. So here you have no chances of a ratchet. Now, you can remove this line if you like, but you know, you have to mess with more bolts, and it's a solid line. I don't know where this connects from over there. Luckily, I had a ratchet wrench that I was able to use to remove it. So last time I put acid in here and I dumped it out. I let it set for like 5 days. It was that phosphoric acid by Klean Strip, and it worked pretty well. I'm gonna put pictures up here of how it looks. This is how it looks right now. I put ATF fluid to help it prevent corrosion. Right now you won't be able to see anything. I could take it outside, but you know, I guess that's me being lazy. But it's pretty good in there. I can assure you that it is fine. But I'll take pictures of this right now so you can see it. It is starting to leak. Yeah, it stinks. ATF fluid on the bottom because I didn't tighten it very well. But, you know, I just put ATF fluid just so that it doesn't rust. It has some sort of coating. See, that's the old tank right there. I'm going to try to restore this too. As you can see, it's still filthy. But, you know, we're going to give this one to the MR2. It gets damaged from right here, from these brackets, from right there. They just crack through the vibration, and just a flaw in general from Toyota. So the solution, we just cut them. We just cut them off here. What I'm gonna do, I already bought a heater hose, 3/4 heater hose, AC Delco brand. This is 50-foot line. So all of this hose, all of this is gonna run from the engine side all the way just like this, and it's gonna be this long, like this lengthwise, right? It's gonna be this long from this hose, and we're gonna have the hose pop into here as far as to right there probably. So that way there's no chance of it sliding off. And I have new clamps, though I ordered the wrong clamp sizes. They're kind of too big, but they are Cummins brand, if that makes any, if that's any better or whatever. But you know, it's Cummins clamps. I didn't know they made their own clamps, but yeah, I mean, I can just trim these off. It's no problem, and it'll still get the job done. And you know, this being a Cummins brand, I'm not worried about it losing tightness or whatever. All right, so we're gonna install this. We're gonna try to do this today with whatever sunlight I have. As you can see, there's a lot of mud everywhere because it's been raining a lot. I'm gonna change out these coolant lines. I'm gonna change these coolant lines with the new silicone ones that I have, so I'm gonna replace those. Once that is done, then we can proceed with installing the fuel pump and getting this thing up and running. So I changed the radiator hoses that lead to the pipes. There are two that I was not able to change. This is the brand, by the way. This you can, I mean, they're literally from eBay. They're really good. I think they're really nice for what they are, and they're not worth that much. I mean, for this MR2, it came with all of those. I think it was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of these already pre-cut, pre-formed with clamps as well. You can buy all of that for $50. There's these two, as you can see, they're there, and then right here. So they're kind of difficult to get to, as you can see, all of this BS that's in this way. I'm gonna try to change them. If not, I'm not gonna sweat it. I may have to remove the radiator or something. I don't know. I really don't want to do that right now. I mean, the car's not even running yet, but I guess it's a good measurement. Oh look, there's the date, 06 January 2006. So I think that's the date when they installed that engine. So this is the one that's completely done right here. I made the dumb mistake of cutting this off completely because I'm dumb and I didn't think ahead of time. I could have just left that piece and cut off the bad part only, but yeah, it's too late. It's what it is at this point. It's gonna work what I'm doing. So I have this line right that runs completely right here underneath this one part. You have to remove this to get to that anyway. But see, that's one of the hoses right there. It's really nice, red. And there's another red one that's already installed. But yeah, so the one that's completely done, this is the one on the driver's side. As you can see, it's already clamped down and everything. It's kind of dumb how these wires literally run between these two hot pipes, but whatever. Yeah, what I'm gonna do, I can't find a hose like this, so I'm just gonna reuse it, you know, just forget it. It's still good anyway, but I'm gonna try to buy a new one. I'm gonna reuse this one, this same old hose. This one is the good pipe. So I cut it off from this edge right here. Right, this down part right there. And we're gonna connect it to the other one. So I have new tires. Stock form, the rears are 205/60 R14 and the fronts are 195/60 R14. 195/70 R14. Yeah, so it's 10 more height, right? This is your width of your tire, how wide they'll be. The 70 is how tall your wheel is going to be, and that's just the rim size. Well, here's the problem. Look at that. That is paper thin close. Like how? I don't know. And so as the car is gonna go down, this is not compressing. It's the spring and the strut that's gonna compress down. This is not gonna move at all. It shouldn't, I hope not. I saw it, it's right on the knuckle where the rear bearing is. It should not, as the weight of the car falls down, it should not affect it, but I don't know. It's not rubbing on it. I promise you, it's not rubbing. If you hear it, it's that. That's just the rusty brake rotor against the rusty brake pad that you're hearing. It's not that. That is literally paper thin. This side, on the other hand, here on the passenger, is actually surprisingly has a better clearance. I don't understand that. Maybe it's just the way of the tires. I don't know. And they're the same size. I'm not joking. I mean, they're literally, these are Cooper tires, by the way, if that matters. 195, 70, R14. Literally the same size, but there's a bigger gap. If this was on the other side as well, I would have no issues, but I don't know. All right, so I was able to get a better heater hose, better than my AC Delco line that won't kink. I got it in here. It fits, I think it fits a lot snugly in here. Here is the edge of the pipe. Now I'm gonna put 2 clamps on here, and then I'm gonna trim the piece up to right here, because ideally I want the tube to go up to here as much as possible, clamp it down. I can always cut it if I need to, but I don't measure it about length. Just got this other line in the way, so I really can't do it like that, but I can get this line out, or at least, so I can get an idea to cut it from like right here, pretty much from right there. And I'm gonna slide it again, same WD-40, lube it up, and then just slide it in. There is a new fuel filter that I installed. They're already connected. I may have to tighten some more, maybe not. We'll have to see. Here are the new silicone lines for the coolant lines right there. You can see another red one here. Red piping that goes right through there, right up there on the front, and the other red one in the front. I still got to clamp it down, but that ain't gonna be too difficult. This is not new. This is the same old one. I just sanded it down. It hides behind this thing, so it's easier if you take this off. Sanded it off and, you know, painted it. Hope it doesn't have any pinholes or anything like that. And we don't want, you know, I have to be extremely cautious of any leaks or anything, because literally, look what's next here. Look what is next here, the exhaust. So we have to be very careful not to have any fuel leaks. All the hoses are now buttoned up. They're all squared away. This is from the valve, so that one's all done. And this is from the other one. It was a little bit hard, I don't know. It was just, you know, giving me an issue. It was cutting the hose as I was putting it in. I don't know why, but I put some WD-40 around it to help it a little bit. But I clamped it down pretty well. I reused an old clamp, but it should, yeah, it's got it. So I don't have to worry too much about it. I didn't have much rust to begin with, but, you know, I put the phosphoric acid. It did wonders. It cleaned it off really well. And so what we're gonna do now, if you can see all those particles that are in there, that just flaked off just because of the phosphoric acid. So what I'm gonna do is, step 1, I'm gonna put some gasoline. This is just regular fuel 89 gasoline. I'm gonna dump some in here to drain out all of the ATF fluid that's in there, because ATF is usually washed with gasoline. Gasoline is a good, very good degreaser for that. So we're gonna use gasoline to clean that, so make sure you wear gloves. I'm gonna wear gloves because I don't want gasoline on my hands, even though I'm gonna have to get some anyway. I'm gonna put the gasoline in there, clean it well, and then we're gonna use this super clean dissolver grease part. It's, you know, it's Walmart, $8, $9, $10 I think. 3 parts water. So this is a gallon. I will be using 3 gallons of water along with a whole gallon of this. Though I think I'll be doing it by parts. I don't know. I'll see. I'll figure it out once I get there. But I don't think I'm even going to use the super clean anymore, because as I coated it with gasoline, it literally left it an oily texture on the inside. So I think I'll be okay. And then at the end, I'm going to put more gasoline to cover the whole thing to knock out all the water. I mean, it's filling up as you see. So I mean, yeah, it's filling up, and that's so that way I can take out all the particles. So for example, if you look at here, that's all that flaky stuff that was inside. I was able to get it out. So I don't think I'm even going to use that anymore. At the end, I'm just going to cover it all with gasoline all over again. Just put more gasoline in there and just to let it oil itself out, and then I think we should be good from there. We should be able to install it maybe tonight. So right now the tank, as right now, it's clean. I have rinsed it many times. I even used the purple super clean thing, even the BBs, but that was a pain to get out. So would I recommend it? I don't know. It's just a pain to get it out. So after I cleaned it, now I just put some gasoline in it again to help separate some of the water, whatever BS. But you know, water and gasoline, once it's mixed. And the only way to get it out, you got to use, I don't know, another product maybe? I have no idea. There's a product called Huff, I think I was just now searching up. But I mean, the inside of the tank is fairly clean. I mean, it's clean now, you know. There's still going to be some junk in there, but, you know, that's why we're going to keep filtering it out. But as you can see, that's gasoline now. When I was rolling it over, I didn't even check, but these two breather lines, these are the evap system or whatever, you know, the relieve pressure from the tank, because here's where the fuel pump goes, and here's where the fuel level sender, you know, the unit, the thing that lets you know how much gas there's in your tank, that's where that goes. So these two things were still on there. I didn't take them off. I don't know why. I assumed nothing would happen. What ended up happening was, not from this one, but from here, I'll show you in a minute. This thing sits just like this, perfectly. It just sits like that. Underneath, inside of this little cylinder thing, there is a little plastic, I don't know, another little plastic cylinder with a spring, and then this compresses it in there. As you can see, it has like clips and stuff. I don't know why my camera's having issue focusing, but yeah, it has clips like this. So what had happened was, because I was rotating it like crazy, this bottom part had popped out. The spring and the little cylinder plastic thing had fell inside of the tank, and that was a pain to get out. Luckily, I was able to get my finger there, snatch it out. But you know, I was able to get all of it out, all the spring and the little cylinder. So in here, I just took it out. I said, you know, just to prevent from that happening again. This thing like that, right? There's this little plastic thing that goes in there, just falls in like that. Like that, and then this just goes right on top of it, and it compresses it like this. And that's what had happened. The bottom portion of it just unpopped because of it jiggling and all that.